What's going on, dudes? Ops here, and I have a question for you nerds. All right, hear me out. You're chilling on the couch, kick back, relaxing, playing on your new Nintendo Switch 2. You could be playing Mario Kart, you could be playing Donkey Kong Bonanza, but what if you were playing Old School Runescape? Now, imagine grinding out Slayer, hitting a quick farm run, or even knocking out Song of the Elves on a Nintendo Switch. I think with the right attitude, this could be more than a dream one day, especially if Jagex is serious about getting their content on real consoles. At the very least, I think something like Dragon Wilds would be a perfect contender for this console as well. So, let's talk. I'll tell you why I think Old School RuneScape belongs on the Nintendo Switch too. So, I know playing RuneScape on your phone pretty much feels like the standard nowadays, but do you guys remember years ago when Old School RuneScape was first announced to be coming to mobile and just how absolutely massive of a milestone that felt like? I mean, you have players today who are getting quest capes and fire capes and the 100% mobile Iron Men who have just never logged into a computer a single time. When it first came out, it was okay, you know, you could do the mundane things like hitting some AFK mining or doing a farm run, and I myself a lot of barbarian fishing, you know, when I was in the passenger seat because my wife felt like driving, I'd be fishing away on my phone. But it was far from perfect. Now, here we are years later, and it's had some pretty fantastic updates, bringing a lot of the RuneLite features to this version of the game, such as buff timers, loot tracking, and a more customizable HUD. The mobile anniversary update happened recently, which featured an awesome revamped UI, a number of quality life improvements, and it even added the menu entry swapper. All of this to say, Old School RuneScape on mobile is no longer just that bare bones port, and it's really feeling like a proper version of the game. I would say it's become a pretty natural fit for handheld gaming, so I think the next logical step would be to pair this with the Nintendo Switch 2 hardware. So why? You know, let's talk about the recently released Nintendo Switch 2, and specifically why this is the gaming console that I think Old School RuneScape would shine in. Now, first off, the big one, mouse mode. Yeah, if you're living under a rock and haven't heard, the new Nintendo Switch features mouse mode. So the Joy-Con controllers that come with the console got an upgrade, and they can be used as mice, and transitioning is so easy. All you do is pick the thing up, turn it on its side, and it's on. It feels very natural, and I'll be honest, at first I thought this was just going to be a real corny gimmick and that I was never going to use it. But I'm finding myself going out of my way to try and find situations where I can use it because it feels that good. I was surprised. I really like it, and I can't wait for more games that support this, like the new Metroid Prime 4 that's coming out. Now, if you happen to not be so crazy about the Joy-Con mouse controls, we did just get confirmation, and this was in a video from Nintendo Prime, that the Nintendo Switch 2 features mouse and keyboard support. And we learned this through Cyberpunk 2077, so check out this clip.
Need to do in Cyberpunk. Well, come over here to say PSA Cyberpunk supports keyboard and mouse controls, and I did now verify this. Here you go. This is an actual screenshot from Switch 2, and you're seeing the full mouse controls here. I'm sorry, the keyboard controls. And yes, I already know that it fully supports mouse.
Well, I'll link that video down in the description if you haven't seen the full thing, but this is very cool. And for a point-and-click game like RuneScape, this is massive and almost opens the door to having the desktop version of the game instead of just the mobile version. But, you know, I don't want to ask for too much here. It gets even better, though. The Switch 2 is still a hybrid console, so you can dock it and throw Theater of Blood or Scurious or the new Yama boss up on your TV when you need to focus. Or you pull it out of the dock, set it up before bed, and knock out a few farm runs, do some clue scrolls, or some AFK skilling before you pass out. The Switch 2 has also received a serious hardware upgrade, so it's got way more power than a phone, which is really useful, even though RuneScape, you know, you could play that on a potato. But let's also not forget the Switch 2 has built-in Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. It has a touchscreen, so if you don't want to use the mouse, that would make it more similar to playing on a phone or a tablet. It has that just a familiar, cozy handheld form factor, which I personally think would match Old School RuneScape's very chill play style. Now, whether you're a sweaty PVMer, a future sailor, or you're just playing for nostalgia, I think the Switch 2 can handle this game perfectly for almost every playstyle. Now, in my opinion, this is more than just something that I want. I think it's something that would make a lot of sense for Jagex as a business move, too. I mean, they already have an excellent working mobile interface, and the cross-platform account system has already proven to work, so I don't think porting this to the Switch would require a total rebuilding of the foundation of the game. It wouldn't be from scratch. You know, they could use elements from the existing mobile interface, adapt it slightly for the Switch's larger screen, and layer on the Joy-Con's mouse support, which would probably be the most difficult part. Now, I know MMOs and the more social RPGs aren't really something that Nintendo is well known for, so I think this would be the perfect niche that OSRS could carve out in this ecosystem. This game is all about setting your own story. It's low pressure and easy to get into. And I don't think more of the diehard Nintendo fans have a whole lot of experience with this game, so I think you have a huge untapped audience here. Now, it's not all sunshine and roses. Obviously, there's a few things that would need to be hashed out that could potentially cause some issues. The first issue I foresee is chatting. Obviously, not everyone is going to have a keyboard to plug in, and typing with the Joy-Con would just feel clunky. You can use the touchscreen, but this would make playing in docked mode harder if you want to chat. So Nintendo does have a text-to-speech built into their new game chat feature. So reversing this into a speech-to-text feature for a chat system would prove pretty useful if it's possible. Now, account security is also a big one. Obviously, the Nintendo logins are already a little weird as they are, so Jagex would need to place a lot of care and attention into the login portion of this, and how it saves your account details, especially as the Switch 2 doesn't natively have a easy-to-access web browser. And finally, I think the big one here is going to be longevity. If the Switch 2 is going to be as popping as long as its predecessor, we're going to have it for a nice long 8 years. A lot can happen in that time, but what happens when the next console comes out? We have no idea what Nintendo is planning, and as much as I think they perfected this console and the obvious choice is a Switch 3, these guys are also known for innovation, and they might just do something crazy to shake up the console game again, and nothing will be compatible. This would put a time limit on how long this version of Old School Runescape would be supported, and I think, in the long term, that could be a problem. These are definitely details that would need to get some attention and get hashed out before committing to a project like this, but I think for the most part, they could all be solved and there's no real deal breakers here. So my pitch is this: Old School RuneScape, a game built on nostalgia and long-term engagement, has already proven that it works great on mobile. The Switch 2 is a powerful, very flexible mobile device that has mouse mode built into it, and it's included in its controllers. I think it's just begging for a game like RuneScape, and I honestly think this would be an awesome experience. So I want to hear your thoughts. What do you think? Would you play Old School RuneScape on the Nintendo Switch 2? Are you playing that game already? Let me know in the comments down below. Old School is probably one of my favorite games of all time, so I would love for this dream of mine to gain some traction. So guys, I guess that about wraps it up, but first, I wanted to report that in completely unrelated news, I have just learned they're selling Sydney Sweeney bathwater flavored bars of soap.
Hello, you dirty little boys. Are you interested in my body?
2025 is obviously the year the world is gonna peak, so
Watch.
I guess the only logical next step here is to get in on the competition. We now have official Artie Ops bathwater shampoo and conditioner. The merch store is coming soon. I'm kidding, maybe. Also, I've been building an awesome community over on my personal Discord server, the Pirate Pit. We've got a bunch of laid-back, non-toxic gamers, and we're going to start doing tournaments soon, too. We have weekly game nights. We have giveaways. I just gave away a free copy of Mario Kart World to celebrate the launch of the Switch 2. So whether you're an early adopter of the Switch 2, you're grinding out Old School RuneScape, or you're none of the above and you're just here to have fun, we want you to join. Check out the link down in the description for more details. So I think that's everything, dudes. If you made it this far, thank you very much. If you enjoyed the video, please do me a favor and like, comment, and subscribe to help me get flowing into that algorithm. Also, if you're new around here or you just haven't seen these yet, this video right here will give you a little background on me and my plans for the channel, while this video is talking about a brand new game that was just announced for the Switch. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Deuces.